I'm traveling from place to place and state to state to meet with my family members, to talk with them about their memories that they have about our family, talk with them about memories that they have about their own lives so that we can get to know one another better. This is that journey. So, these are interviews that I did with my siblings, or most of them so far. My brother, Kenny Sullivan, my sister, Jessica Gibbs, and my sister, Rachel Walker. I wanted to talk with them, of course, about memories that they have about Dwight Walker, my father, and just be able to kind of get them to talk, share with me some things I remember, some things I didn't. Some things were brand new to me. What a beautiful perspective that I'm getting. My goal is to create a mosaic of Dwight Walker in my heart and get different points of view, or get points of view from different relationships that he had, whether directly or indirectly, and seeing the way that he continues to live on, not just through me, but through my sisters, our children, my brothers, their children, and our extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, grandchildren, all of us. We are family, and we have so much to share. We have so much experience and life amongst us. So I just want to put that together. So here you get to meet my siblings, and we really do get to find out some stuff about my dad. Not all of it's great news. Not all of it is, but it's what it is. It's our memories, it's our experiences. Some of it is excellent. Some of it is stuff that I did not know. Such a wonderful and lasting impact of positivity that my father had as well. Just a quick overview of the dynamic of my immediate family that I grew up in until my father moved away. But there was my father, Dwight Walker, my mother, Karen Walker at the time. Each one of them had a son already, and that was older than me, obviously. So my mother had a son, Kenny. My father had a son, Ojeda. I was the firstborn of the marriage of Dwight and Karen, and then they also had my sisters, twins, Rachel and Jessica, 2 years after me. So please enjoy. I'm enjoying learning about myself as I find out more about all my family members as well. I love you guys. Thank you so much for doing this for me. And what are we looking at here?
All right. This is our first family portrait. This is Dwight Walker. Our mom, Karen Redmond Walker King. Kenny Sullivan, Ojeda Walker, brothers. Denise. Me and Rachel.
So if you could introduce yourself, tell us who you are, how old you are, and where you're from.
Who I am. I am Jessica Loren Walker Gibbs. I am 40 years old. I'm Denise's baby sister. I'm the baby because I'm the youngest of the twins. I'm in Charlotte.
Okay.
And that was all the questions, right? Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so I'm Kenneth Sullivan. With Kenneth Walker at a point in my life, and I'm from DC, Northeast DC. I'm 53. Yes, I had to count. 53. I'll be 54 in December. And I'm Denise's big brother. Very proud of her, and I'm glad to be a part of this as well.
Okay, so I am Rachel Loren Walker. I am the little sister to Denise. I am one of the twins. I am a model coach and mentor, and also a fashion show producer in Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right. Who was Dwight Walker to you? What? Just if you could, 1 minute, who was this person?
Dwight Walker was he was a complicated man. Apparently no one understood him.
Not even this woman.
Yeah, right. Only Yah knows that one. He was my father, our father. I have bits and pieces. I have up until the age of 7 memories, and then there's, sporadic
memories. And then he lived with me. He moved in with me in 2007. And he lived with me for 2 years up until the last couple months before he passed. So it was an experience.
I'm going to start asking you questions. What is your earliest memory of Dwight Walker?
Earliest memory. It's kind of sad. It's not a great one. Okay. Well, that's not true. It's the first memory that popped into my head, but my earliest memory is when he would pick all three of us up at the same time. Mm-hmm. And do that big and shake us all around like dolls, you know. That's probably like my earliest memory.
How old would you say you were then?
Like 3 and 4 maybe. Small, like Fairfax area, you know. So 3, 4, 5.
What's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory would probably be like when we were young, playing Legos, and Daddy had put some stuff on his feet, and nobody wanted to sit by Daddy's feet, and I was the one that got stuck by his feet. He had socks on his feet and stuff, but we knew he had something on his feet, and I just didn't want to be near his feet. So I remember that. I remember him when we were outside. He would throw us up in the air and catch us, and I remember being thrown up and watching him have to take some steps to come get me. So
wow,
those are my earliest fond memories.
What is your earliest memory of Dwight Walker?
I remember the first day I met him. So like I said, I was growing up in DC, and you know, even though it's a city, you can still be kind of sheltered to certain things. And he was so articulate, and he to me had like, even though he was from New York, I didn't really hear a New York accent. It was like almost like an anchorman speaking, right?
Wow.
And being a little kid, not knowing better, I was like, man, kind of nerdy. You know what I mean? Immediately found out that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? Just because he was just a well-rounded person, and he taught me so much on stuff like that. I don't want to bounce around too much, but for example, with that, he taught me that certain things about being a black man, stereotypes were not necessary, or were definitely unnecessary, if that makes sense. So, for example, without bashing our people, he would, you know, sometimes in DC, he'd be like, see those guys right there? And he was like, you don't want to end up in that spot. You know, you want to make sure, he said, school is in place for a reason. Like he talked to me on a level that nobody else really did. You know, he used to say, sometimes I would have moments where I would say something real smart to him, and he was super smart. So it was a big compliment to me. And he'd be like, that boy's quick. And whenever he said that, I was like, man, thank you, because he was so smart. You know what I mean? Like, it was the stuff he knew about science. I mean, to be an architect is hard anyway. And then he would sit me down and have me watch shows like Cosmos with Carl Sagan, and learn about space and gravity, and he just expanded my mind a whole lot. You know what I mean? It was a pleasure getting to know him. And it's weird because I think he saw something in me a lot of people didn't. Now, of course, we had our head bumps, but overall he was pretty fair. He would have times where he was really quiet, but I felt like when I was getting to know him, and I learned about his upbringing, being so young, going to Vietnam. Wow. I don't even know how, and then come home and be an architect.
Right.
He's a bad boy. That boy's quick.
Yeah. So
he impressed me more than anything. There were times where I felt like, I was being treated unfairly, just on a parent-kid level. He never made me feel like a stepson. You know what I mean? Excuse me. One time he picked me up, and it was a ton of toys in the hatchback of Mom's car. And I pretty much knew it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? This was going to be the first time I met Jacob.
Okay.
And he wanted, it was around the holidays. And he still thought to buy me a couple of items, so it just didn't feel crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I still had some stuff back there. And even if he didn't, I understood, this is a special visit. But, he thought about stuff like that. Or sometimes his parenting was unorthodox in a good way. I remember one birthday I used to collect Hot Wheels cars. And I had like $20 collectively from birthday cards from family. And I ended up spending it on Hot Wheels cars. And back then, that 20 is probably like 60 now, maybe 45, something like that.
Probably
It's a lot.
Today.
Yeah. Right now, 75. No,
Right.
But that's what I wanted to do. And I bought it. And Mom was not feeling it. She was like, I cannot believe you spent all your money on these cars. You know what I mean? That's like, well, they're different cars. It's a collection. And he called her over. He was like, that's his money. And she was like, but he needs guidance on how to spend. And he was like, not when you're 10. He said, let him have his fun with his birthday money that people wanted to give to him. You know what I mean? I didn't have a curfew in my early teens, but I proved that was okay. Like I never, later on, I got in some trouble one time. He did have to pick me up at the police station in Richmond. I didn't do a direct crime, but I was riding with an intoxicated driver, and I had indulged myself.
How old were you?
When I did that, I was like 15 or 16.
And how'd that go, him picking you up?
So I was terrified, rightfully so, because you should get in trouble. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. He was no joke. He would make you laugh till you cry, and you shaking in your boots. Right. But yeah, so I'm downtown Richmond. Our house was in the far west end of Henrico. So we're off of Gayton. So it's a nice little ride. And this was probably 2-ish, 3-ish in the morning. They called. He came down to pick me up. And I knew I was going to get in trouble. I told myself, I said, the first thing I'm going to do when I get in the car is apologize for, messing up and having them get up. And apparently I passed out before I could do that. Like, because I had been drinking. Yes.
You really indulged yourself?
Yes. Made a fool of myself. So he let me sleep all the way home. And he ended up being very understanding about it. He was more glad that I didn't get hurt. Mom was upset, as she should have been. But his outlook, and it helps me with my parenting too, some things are just going to happen. Kids are going to do stupid things. You can't light them up every time. You know what I mean? So, and I got disciplined, please believe it. And, but the way his mind worked was not like anybody else. Like he would come in with angles and thoughts that most people wouldn't think of. And when I say he was well-rounded, like he didn't pay for repairs on certain stuff. If there's a crack in the wall, he's going to buy the sheetrock. He's going to get the putty. Like he showed me that stuff.
Nice. DIY.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah, he like, and then he could keep up, like I said, with the most scientific, outer space conversations in the world. So I thought that was very cool.
What is your best memory of him from when we were little?
Little or just period?
Well, just period. Whatever's easiest for you.
Because my best memory is when we were going to a party at Denise Sims' house, a New Year's Eve party or Christmas party or something like that. And he's seen her daughters and he see how well they dress up and stuff like that. And he was just like, oh, they ain't gonna be able to hold a candle to you. So he shopping and bought me my favorite dress. I wish the sparkles on it didn't fade, because when I tell you a sister was cute, so this black dress with hot pink sparkles, which I didn't realize would end up being my color later, right? Okay, Daddy, one for you. So it was a beautiful dress, cinched in here. It was so cute. And he bought me, I think I still have it, a necklace, black necklace with some, fake diamonds around it, and some earrings, bracelet, some shoes, and he wanted me to pull my hair back and stuff like that. And he got himself all real nice and dressed up in a suit, and he had on that real nice clown tie, the different old time clowns and stuff on it. Yeah. And he was my date, and we had a ball at Denise Sims' party. And at one time he came and got us for our 16th birthday, right before our 16th, right after your 18th. So we're 50. Wow. Took us down to Atlanta for real this time.
Yeah.
Took us out, got us drunk as I don't know what at the club because won't nobody carding us.
Nobody
We
were
carded us as
under
nothing.
ages. Heck,
15.
and we weren't just drinking in one place. Everywhere we went.
Oh yeah. He took us around different places, and the last place was at the place with the live band and stuff. And we had a ball. I remember them play that funky music, White Boy. And I mean, we were we had a ball. And Daddy won't getting up to dance, but he had a ball watching us have a ball. So that was a great time.
He was really good at just showing you the time of your life, even if you weren't out. If he was happy, then.
You had a great time.
Yeah. What would you say is your best memory?
Best memory? Okay. 2. When we got back in touch with him and we went to Chicago.
You and us together?
No. We all took our separate turns.
Yes.
I was 19 and I went to Chicago and he just showed me the best time. And we went to, that's how I learned how to mix alcohol in my, rum into my Coke bottle. So we could drink and walk. And, take it, then we didn't have to buy stuff at restaurants or whatever.
Yeah.
He's where I get all my flask ideas from.
Okay.
And then when I first got married, me and my ex-husband were going through it. And all that, it didn't quite resolve. It was like bad at that time. So he wanted to take me away, right? He was staying at Rachel's at the time in the townhouse.
Yeah.
And we were in the lakes.
Okay.
And he was like, "You want to go to New York for the weekend?" And I was like, "Huh?" It's like late. I think it's late Thursday night. And because he took me out to dinner to a watering hole. Right?
Yeah.
That was my drinking buddy. Or his, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. I was like, well, I need to go pack or whatever. He was like, no, we're not even going back to the house. You don't need to argue about it or anything. He said, you're going to text him that you're with me and that you'll be home on Sunday.
Wow.
He took me to Walmart and bought me some night clothes, some underwear, a toothbrush, like another shirt. Bought him the same. And we drove through the night to New York.
What?
He checked us into the W Hotel, which was like $600 a night.
Wow.
When they told us that, I thought we were going to go somewhere else. And he was like, okay. We did 2 nights.
Wow.
And I ended up, when I took Renee to New York when she was 13 with Rachel for the New York Fashion Week, we were across the street from the W Hotel. I got pictures.
Okay.
So, but he took me on the ferry and saw the Statue of Liberty. We went to the Carnegie Deli. Ended up meeting the owner of Carnegie Deli. He said he hadn't been there since he was like 19. We had an egg cream, which is some type of like fluffy, no egg in it, but fluffy, frothy soda cream drink, like a root beer float, but just the floaty part of it, I guess.
Okay.
And we had Reubens, but their slogan is, if you finish it, we didn't do something right. Because it comes like open face and they're like stacked high.
Yeah.
That's the first time I had legit like deli mustard.
Oh man.
Chicago was my first legit Chinese mustard.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I haven't had that taste since. But so yeah, he sent me across the street when he found out who that guy was. He sent me across the street to get a camera.
Okay.
And we took pictures with the owner and everything. And
wow.
That was his last trip going home. We drove by where the hospital he was born and the neighborhood. And
Yeah.
so I have all these pictures of him, like the hospital's here and his profile, and like his profile is in all of the pictures as we went around. I have the book around here somewhere. I'll show you. I learned how to hustle or haggle, right? You know, for
Of
things on the
prices?
street. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. He was really sick then,
Mm-hmm.
and he was still walking, but he had the cane, so we had to do a lot of like breaks. We would just like lean up against a building and talk, or you know, there'd be chairs outside, a bench, sit down or whatever. And
Yeah.
I kept saying, "Are you sure you don't want to get a cab?" And he wanted to walk those streets one more time.
Wow.
And then we came back, and then he thought on the way back, because he was Dwight, he thought I said something slick, and his whole demeanor changed, and I couldn't tell. He didn't talk to me for like the rest of the ride home. Then we got home, and he didn't speak to me, and I was like, "What is wrong with you?" And he told me, I don't remember what he thought I said, something, and I was like, "That's not what I said. I said this." And he was like, "Oh, huh," and then it was over. I'm like,
Okay.
you know, that kind of stuff.
So so as you were telling me that, I was like, wow, this is what I'm thinking right now, that I missed out on having moments like that with our dad. But then when you told me that right at the end, I was like, yeah,